Welcome to our slideshow of historic Salem. The first evidence of a settlement was noted in 1626, and Salem officially became a village in 1629. The settlement was led by a fisherman by the name of Roger Conant. This is Roger right here, who helped establish the first Puritan church in America. Salem originally included parts of Marblehead, Beverly, Danvers, Peabody, Middleton, Topsfield, and Worcester. Salem was the capital of the new Massachusetts Bay Colony until Boston took it over in 1639. America's first living history museum is Salem's Pioneer Village, which recreates a Puritan village between the years of 1630 through 1632. Around that time, there was even evidence that they planted a medicinal herb garden in the backyard, as well as several different types of vegetables. The original National Guard, this is our current National Guard here, was formed on the Salem Common in 1636. And here we have some cannons, and note my apartment building in the background. Here is the smallest tall ship, called the Front Ship of Salem. Originally built in 1797 as a trading ship to the East Indies for tea and other goods, it was later destroyed in the War of 1812. Obviously, this is a replica of the original ship, which was, I believe, 121 feet in length. This is an example of one of the oldest framework houses in America still standing. The actual oldest framework house in the United States is a few miles down the road in a town now called Beverly, built in 1638. The history books tell us that the Puritans came to Salem for religious freedom, but the truth was that it was only for themselves. The Puritans first appeared in Europe around the mid-1500s as a radical extremist wing of the new Protestant religion. In Salem, they terrorized their residents and tolerated no religion except their own. In the late 1600s, there was a judge by the name of John Hawthorne who came to Providence during a time when Puritans thought witchcraft was very real and people could actually be possessed by the devil. Salem residents were very fearful of authority at this time. Children were whipped for saying a naughty word, and women could be thrown in prison for having sex with someone not their husband. Theories suggest that it might have been bad mushrooms or a virus that may have triggered the witch hysteria, but Judge Hawthorne took full advantage and started sentencing residents to death for witchcraft, in particular wealthy widows. Judge Hawthorne sentenced Rebecca Nurse to death and then took her land, which aroused some suspicion in the community. Then the judge's niece was accused of witchcraft, and the hysteria came to a screeching halt. Many people would guess that the first American millionaires were from a slave state like Virginia, but actually the first two millionaires were a couple of Salem sea merchants by the names of Derby and Peabody. These sea merchants owned the ships that would dock at the Salem harbor, unload the goods from all over the world into a small building such as this. And then they were brought across the street to the customs house. Here the goods would be logged in by a customs officer, and that was one of Nathaniel Hawthorne's first jobs. And once the items were logged in and priced, a tax was levied on each item, and all of the taxes were sent to the King of England. And this, not surprisingly, angered the colonists, and that resulted in the protests of no taxation without representation that eventually led to the Boston Tea Party. Salem was a major player in the American Revolution. Over 600 war vessels were privately commissioned out of the now famous seaport of Salem. After the Revolutionary War, Salem became a wealthy town of merchants who built houses according to a new style of architecture, which was made famous by Samuel McIntyre. In many of these buildings, you will see two front doors. The original door, built in the 18th century before roads lined up in rows. These mansions now comprise the largest collection of pre-1900 structures in America. In the mid-1800s, Salem Willows, this is the Salem Willows Bay area, became a stop on the Underground Railroad, where runaway slaves were given food and maps to continue along the water's edge. And last but not least, this is Ye Olde Pepper Company, the oldest candy store in America. This concludes our slideshow of historic Salem. I hope you enjoyed it.